Solving radical equations. It's radical if there's a square root in it. So here's the steps. I'm going to write them off to the side as I do them. So the first step is going to be, go away, add 3 to both sides. Okay, and so then we have the square root of 5 minus x equals 3. So again, I want you guys to get used to taking notes. And so then right on to the side, you should say, isolate the term with the radical. Okay, and that's what we did. We got the radical by itself. Is that okay? All right, now the next thing is, what is the inverse operation of square rooting? Squaring. So then we're going to square both sides. And it is important to square sides. Okay, so this is the first step. The second step is to square each side. Side being important. So if we square a square root, what happens? Okay, so what's on the left-hand side then? All right, good. Equals 9. And then, yeah, then you just solve the equation. That's okay. All right, so then, right, subtract 5.
That's pretty easy, actually.
And that's not bad, is it? Now, because we're dealing with radicals, you do need to check for extraneous solutions. And again, what an extraneous solution is, basically, you've done everything correctly, like all your work is correct, but then the answer when you plug it back in doesn't give you a true statement. So some equations that happens more than others. This is one of them. But it's not bad, right? Make sure you come back to the top. 5 minus a negative 4 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. We're happy. That's our answer. Is that okay?
You always want to subtract it?
Because sometimes they won't work, and if you don't know that they don't work, you don't really have the answer then. Okay?
So what happens if you get an answer? If the answer doesn't work, then you have the wrong answer, right?
Not necessarily, right? Like, so, and it is tough because usually that tells you if you did it right or not. But basically, you would have to say, excuse me, instead of saying, oh, this is my answer, you'd have to like kind of cross it out. Or you have to signify some way that you're saying, I feel pretty good that I did it right, but yet it still doesn't work up here. So usually it happens when you have multiple answers. Okay, like if you had an x squared, then that would maybe give you something. But you do need to check. You do need to check. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more of those. All right, so what was the first step again?
Isolate. It's already isolated.
All right, so isolate the radical. Now, to answer your question, no, because we have 2 radicals. So now you have to choose which one you want to isolate first. So which one would you like to isolate first? The square root of x?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So then that means we're going to subtract the square root of x minus 20 to the other side. You're the one that picked to isolate the square root of x. It doesn't really make any difference. Would you like to do the other way?
I don't care.
I already wrote it down. Go on.
Okay. So then we have the square root of x equals 10 minus the square root of x minus 20. Is that okay? All right, so what's the next step then? All right, so then, square each side. Side being important. So then we square this side, and we square that side. So So what happens when we square the square root of x?
Just that.
Okay, and then, I'm not even going to let you answer, this is what squaring this side means.
Oh, money.
All right. So we have to FOIL all that. All right, so what does that FOIL into?
That's what I was gonna guess first.
So 10 times 10 is 100.
Okay,
10 times the negative square root of x minus 20 would be, so minus 10 times square root.
okay, good.
We should have done it the other way.
It makes no difference. It's the same.
Then see how you go back and do it.
Minus the square root of x, or minus 10 times square root of x minus 20, right?
Yep,
Again?
yep.
And then plus square root of x minus 20 squared.
Okay, so I'll write it the way she said it. So square root of x minus 20 squared. It would just be x minus 20. Okay, so, right, so then we're going to have x equals 100 minus 20 square root of x minus 20 plus x minus 20. Is that okay? So now what should...
Did you combine 100 and negative 20?
Okay, so then, yep, we should combine like terms, because what you should notice is there's another radical. And so what's the first move?
Isolate.
You got to isolate it. Okay, so right, we got to reset our steps again. So then we have, can I subtract this x also? Can I do multiple things at once? Is that okay with everyone? So if we subtract this x, what happens to it?
Goes to the other side, but it cancels out.
Okay, so then we have 0 equals 80 minus 20 square root of x minus 20.
Should be able to isolate it, right?
We still got to isolate it, so what's that mean?
Subtract 80 plus 20.
Yeah, okay, so it doesn't matter. So we can do negative 80 equals negative 20 square root of x minus 20. They're being multiplied.
Divide by 5.
So divide by negative 20. So then we have 4 equals the square root of x minus 20. Square both sides. So what do we get on the left-hand side? 16. 16 equals x minus 20.
You add 20 to the other side.
And get,
Gives you 26 equals
Well, that's a lot worth
36.
36.
is that okay?
I don't know if full 36 is worth it.
Well, I don't know if that's worth it or not, but you should go back up and check. So let's go back to the top, 36. Just make sure we're okay, right? Square root of 36 is 6. That's the square root of 16, which is 4. So 6 plus 4 is 10. We're super happy. All right. Oops. All right, so then,
I would definitely make a mistake.
so slightly different. We have the radical isolated. I don't see a radical though. What am I talking about?
But you can make it into a radical, can't you?
You could, but that's going to be more work than you need. Okay? So, is it okay to say that the radical is isolated?
Yeah.
So what is the root of this?
3/4.
Well, that's the whole exponent. What's the root? 4. 4 is the root. Okay? Because that's the denominator.
So
So,
if you times it all by an exponent of 4?
you're on the right track. So, we'd have to raise a power to a power. But let's take care of all of that, not just the 4, because we want this to just be x plus 3, right? So we want the exponent to be what? 1. We want it to be 1 when we're done. Okay, is that okay? So then we're going to raise, so she's on the right track there. We're going to raise this side to what then? That's part of it. 4/3. 4/3. Why 4/3?
Because that cancels out the 3/4.
How?
It, crosses.
So, okay, so power to a power means you multiply. So then this would be 12 over 12, which is 1. So we get down to x plus 3 equals 27 to the 4/3. Uh-oh. 27 to the 4/3. What do you got to do with that?
Gonna change it to the next number.
Kind of. Well, you can put it in the calculator if you're weak and soft, but you guys are tough, so.
I am? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Since we're so strong.
So,
Wouldn't it be like 28?
27 to the 4th power.
yeah, okay, so what's the cube root of 27?
Okay.
Yeah, because it's 3 and 9 and 3 and 3. So really why? So 27 is really 3 to the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then we're 3 to the 3rd to the 4/3.
And the 3's cancel.
So then it's 3 to the
4th.
4th, which is,
27 times 3.
good job, 81.
Don't move, I gotta write all that.
Yeah, don't erase.
I'm not going to erase. Why would I erase? Is that okay?